Call them stereotypes,
Spring-Tucky,
Berkeley North,
Meth-Tucky,
Skinner's Mudhole,
wrong side of the tracks,
or maybe just misperceptions.
Preppy,
The white trash,
tree huggers, hillbillies,
rich,
heroin addict,
elitists, Billy Bobs.
But whatever you call them, there's no denying they're out there. The put-downs, the quips, the snide comments that undermine the very idea of community.
The joke goes, why does everybody in Eugene go to yard sales in Springfield to get back all their stolen stuff?
at least in Springfield we can count because we figured the 60s ended 40 years ago.
Labels,
Pot smokers,
stigmas,
Cracktown, USA.
perceptions,
I think the only thing that's green in Eugene is all the dope they smoke.
some may be fair,
Eugene can be just as bad as Springfield.
others clearly not.
The educated people tend to live up in the South Hills.
All of them, though, part of the fabric that has come to define the cities of Eugene and Springfield.
I've lived here long enough to realize that there's a different attitude between which side of the freeway you're on.
We have a little different perspective about where we draw our lines.
We may be separated by the freeway, but once you move from going to one city to the next, there's clearly an identity.
They are assumptions or judgments that residents in both cities might not always agree with, but often accept as unassailable truth. The idea that when you see someone on a bike in Springfield, you think it's because he can't afford a car.
or they have a DUI.
That's what I always think in Springfield, that they just lost their license.
But somehow, when you see that same image in Eugene, it's because the guy on the bike is doing it to save the environment.
And I don't think it's a real useful stereotype.
That one is occupied by nothing but blue-collar workers, the other by their white-collar peers.
As much as I love the city of Eugene, I think they have a bit of an attitude.
There's always been this difference in perception between Eugene and Springfield because of the University of Oregon being in Eugene.
They have a whole different mindset than what you call the blue-collar workers here in Springfield.
And the list goes on and on. One wants to save the trees.
Shame on you!
The other wants to cut them all down. One is anti-growth.
Our growth management policies are a little different.
And I think that Eugene has a tendency to drag their feet.
The other can't grow fast enough.
Springfield gets stuff done. You got a pit in Eugene, you got a hospital in Springfield.
We've clearly prided ourselves on being open for business.
But while most people don't have a problem talking about the city's differing approaches to politics or growth management, there is an uneasiness when it comes to topics that hint at cultural or class differences.
definitely feels different. I mean, it's like, well, I don't know really.
A lot of people are
I mean, Springfield is full of white trash, but we don't want to say that.
The hard truth is, many people may be comfortable tossing certain labels or jokes around behind closed doors. Very few, though, would want those remarks traced back to them.
I guess kind of we call it, not we, but people call it the ghetto?
It's partially why political correctness now rules so much of our culture. That reflex or instinct that should guide us when we talk about our neighbors, but often doesn't.
We're all bad about assuming things about people without really knowing.
I saw a bumper sticker the other day that said, all generalizations are false, and I had to laugh about it. And I think there is a tendency to sort of think about a community behaving in a certain way.
But whether verbalized or not on camera, all those labels, perceptions, and stereotypes that linger in the back of people's minds that have been around since the two cities were born continue to exist just under the surface. An unspoken and unwelcome tradition, perhaps, passed down from generation to generation.
The stereotypes I always heard was just that they're poor.
They're really high class, preppy.
When it comes to sports and stuff like that they're always going to be a Bush League team.
You don't want to talk to anybody, think they're too good for everyone.
So where did it all originally come from? Every weed, of course, has its roots, and finding these roots means going back in time, an explanation found in the area's history books.